those that are here, I will tell y'all next week we won't be doing a call because we are going to be in California. And by the time this time comes up, we're going to be very involved in whatever we're doing on that day. So
that's true. It'll be like at 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Right.
Morning, Beverly. Good to see you.
Yeah, it'll be like really early in the morning.
It's
California is 2 hours behind.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
You look good. You look great, Beverly.
Thanks. You do too.
Thank you. For those of y'all who might know the 80s, we went to see Rick Springfield last Friday night at Saturday night at the Golden Nugget in Louisiana. Y'all know that dude is 72 years old and he has still got a six-pack.
No.
And he can sing and he can play the guitar like nobody's business. It was a great concert. Holly, I was really surprised. So
when you're 70, they're going to come out and sing like every other note and sit down a lot. Some lady actually tried to hold on him too long. He actually had to jump over the railing of a stage on the stage.
Tried to grab his little band and pull him down. Yeah. And he said, "Girl, I'm gonna grab your bra if you try that again." He will
pull your bra off.
And we had
a good sport on it.
We had a good time for the Super Saturday training here in Houston on Saturday. It was good, Katie. I know you were there. We talked a lot about IUL specifics, who's the right client, things like that. Marty talked about annuities and how his kind of method on how he approaches his warm market and has been selling annuities. And then Mike Guerra talked about the cash flow quadrant. Has anybody ever read Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki?
Nope. Don't have it up here.
So it talks about, if you haven't read it, there's an audiobook too. I like to listen to audiobooks, but it talks about the different types of people, like a different type, like whether you're employed, self-employed, business owner, or investor, and the different mindsets behind them and how we can really achieve self-employed, business owner, or investor in this business. We're not employees, right? But we can achieve all of those other things in our industry, in our business. And just having the opportunity to do that in one industry alone is pretty incredible. So, we talked about how 95% of people are actually on the self-employed and employee side. So it's employee and self-employed. 95% of people are there, but that's where 5% of the money is. 5% of people are on the business owner and investor side. That's where 95% of the money is. So everybody on this side, the employee and self-employed, is fighting for that 5%, where if we just fought harder and went through a little bit more and challenged ourselves and did one more and week to week, just got up and did the daily disciplines to help us get to where we want to get faster, we could be on that business owner and investor side where 95% of the money lives, but only 5% of people actually are. So it's just, we talked about that and how we can really achieve three of those quadrants here. And which one do you want to be in, right? For sure, the business owner side is building an organization. Once you build an organization, you can then become a great investor, right? But most wealthy people typically have like a big cash cow, right? Like most wealthy people did not build their wealth on multiple streams of income. People talk about multiple streams of income, but they built that once they built their wealth. Then they invested and got other multiple streams of income. Right? But you kind of have to start with something that builds that cash cow to be able to invest into your business and then invest into other businesses that you want to invest into to create that additional cash flow. Anyway, it was a great training. We had, I don't know, like 20 people, maybe 20, I don't know, I didn't count, show up in person. So it was great. Had a lot of new people there. From the Lampy organization, from the Guerra organization, from Brandon Beal's organization, from our organization. So it was wonderful.
That's cool.
Mhm.
I always love hearing Marty. We got to visit with Marty while he was here outside of the meeting, and so that was good. And what I'm trying to do now, guys, is 6 virtual appointments Monday through Thursday. And then if I need to do more on Friday, I will. But this week it resulted in over $10,000 in premium, almost $11,000 in premium, 12 applications.
That's
And it's
awesome.
the sheer activity of talking to people. I don't care if it's your warm market. I don't care if it's your gas station and you try to get an appointment with someone. I'm at the hospital. I'm trying to get an appointment with someone, or you're dialing or texting leads and trying to set up appointments with them and getting on a Zoom session. And by the way, Beverly, your background looks great. Like if you're doing a Zoom with somebody, it looks great. And I think if we're getting up and we're
Thank you. I used to have a coat rack back there. It was awful. And they suggested I did something different, and that's what I did.
that's
The
great.
awful. Thank you.
I kind of fixed my background up and got a little closer, and hopefully it looks better than my door that was in the background. If you're doing virtual meetings, you need to have a good background. People need to feel like they're sitting to you across from the kitchen table from you. You're having a face-to-face meeting, but with technology. That's what you're having. So, I just want to share that because the sheer activity of setting a goal, and then I'm feeling better. So even between going to radiation and then my 6 hours at the hospital every day, it's at the minimum 3. But if it's lab work, it's 6 to 6, or 7. I'm working it in between, and we can help you get more, work on ways to get more leads. You need resources. You need some type of resources to sit down with people, or you need to knock on doors. Knock on doors is not a bad thing either. It takes a little bit more time. You're going to be driving more, or, we can, look at some text messages and start texting people on these leads and try to get some appointments set.
Yeah, the main thing about this business is with your schedule is you need leads, appointments. Well, you need training, leads, and appointments. Until you figure out how to get those into your schedule, the rest of it doesn't matter. But you need to show up to trainings, which is preaching to the choir. You guys are here.
I have
You need to dial and you need to book appointments, period. When it comes down, we were talking about schedule this last Saturday. We had some agents asking about how to get their part-time schedule, and the thing is like, there's no wrong or right answer for that. Everybody's schedule is different. Everybody has different priorities. Everybody has different things that come up in their life. You have to set your priorities, right? And typically the priorities need to be the things that are the non-negotiables, like the activities that get you to where you want to get. So if a birthday party for a 3-year-old isn't top priority, well, that's going to have to be skipped, like because you need to dial or you need to go whatever else is on your schedule. But it has to align with what your goals are. So you have to prioritize the big blocks first, put that stuff in. And then if you are part-time, figure out the days that you are not working. And on those days that or moments or hours that you are not working your job, because you do need to show up for your job, that's where you fit this stuff in. And initially, it just starts with the training, dials, and appointments, period. We talked a lot about that because there was a lot of part-timers. So just start there. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Put in the training, put in the dials.
But you guys are all super powerful, and you all have a superpower, and it's all within you. And I mean, Juanita, you've been at the top of the boards for the last few weeks. I'm so proud of you. You're putting in the work, and just like we talked about, you're taking your clients and you're helping them. You're giving them value with life insurance. I know that you're constantly talking to Megan, and you're getting better, and you're just doing the work. So I'm looking at an IUL for a 59-year-old this week. She's kind of on the late end of an IUL, but we're looking at just funding it for 10 years, and she's healthy. And that was from going to Louisiana. That was warm market, talking to people, meeting people.
And I think, Michelle, you had a good conversation with one of the ladies on the way back from Lake Charles yesterday. To me, it's just one of those things. It was a 10-year policy. It was a time in her life that she had. She was telling you she had kid in college, kid in high school. Just moved into a brand new house, and it's now 8 years later, and it's like she said, it seems like a lifetime ago. And so her situation's changed, and now you're looking at other things for her, including even her Medicare stuff. And to me, that just says is that we write policies, we write apps, and or let me just say this: you have business relationships with people, not just even whether you've written apps here, but you've had a relationship with somebody, some kind of contact, and just routinely, when we talk about annual reviews, just kind of routinely following up with that, following up with those contacts. Maybe it is somebody, from high school or from college or from a job or two ago that you just stayed in touch with, and I think, without sounding like Ned Ryerson, although it's not a bad thing, right? But just let them know what you're doing now, and see what's happening. You might find some stuff there that you can help them with. Not necessarily make a sale. Understand what I'm saying here is it's to my mindset. It's I've got things I can help you with. Let me figure out ways to help you with. And and even towards the end of the call, Michelle was like, well, we can help you with some of your retirement money, because she's looking at retirement, and she was like, I'm not ready to talk about that right now. It's okay, but here's the thing: she knows, and that's
right.
important.
We've set up another time to talk. She was busy. I was running late for my appointment. We were heading back from Louisiana, and I didn't want to call in the car with other people, so I pushed it back. And so, but like Katie, for example, I'm super proud of Katie. She's working the teacher market. Those leads cost money, but she's writing annuities. She wrote $100,000 for 2 annuities last week, and she's going to write more. And she's going to write more IULs from that market. And so if you're interested, I think those leads might cost $50 each. And you're not going to make a sale on every one of them. You do need to be you do need to be trained. You need to know what to do. But it's another market that this insurance industry is a $1 trillion industry. It's had double-digit growth for the past 5 years. And even in a recession, we will still win if we do the work. And that's what fires me up about the business. And I'm seeing so many of our people grow. They're growing. They're physically growing, whether they're, Jonathan's always at the gym. He's getting his mind right. He's reading, whether it's 5, pages a day or 15 minutes a day, or maybe it's more, but he's starting somewhere. And we all have to start somewhere. Getting our mind right, physically, mentally, emotionally, will help us be stronger to do the activities that we need to do. And I'm proud of Jeff. Jeff is, posting his activity to me. He's being accountable every day to me. He's coming into the office and he's dialing, he's texting his leads. He's trying to set up the appointments, and he's got it within him to do the activities, and he's now putting it in his schedule. So I'm proud of you, Jeff.
Did anyone else have anything from their weekend that they wanted to share, or maybe a case that they, I don't know, a good story that they had from a client, or it's your opportunity to share your successes? Oh, come on. I know somebody had a funny experience.
Well, I'll talk. I'd love to hear about y'all, but I had some funny stories. I had a customer who has a life policy with me for years, and some of her kids' policies, well, we had one of her kids on a policy, and she's had 2 more since. And I explained to her about the Forester's 10-pay plan, and that the policy's paid off in 10 years. And she said, well, do that one for my other 2 kids and do it for my first one too. I'll keep both, And I talked to another customer, Myra, about just her Medicare and how we do have plans that offer $90 a month back into their Social Security. She doesn't really care about her doctors. She's not really, she's healthy. She doesn't, she really cares more about the give back plan. And there's a set special enrollment period in her county. And she said, oh, my mom would like this too. Can you help her? Oh, and my boyfriend would like to look at this option too. And so that's how you get referrals, bringing value to people.
Absolutely. You and Juanita are both really great at referral business from current customers that you've just served really well.
I called a couple.
You got to ask. I mean, the thing I think that most people don't get them because they don't ask for them, right? You provide great value, but you don't actually go the next step and say, hey, who else in your family or your friends could benefit from this information?
I had one of my customers whose mother got approved on Mutual Omaha Living Promise 3 months ago, and her daughter was paying for it and didn't pay the first 2 premiums. It lapsed. Bottom line, it lapsed. And then her mother went into the hospital and had COVID, and I'm sure she was put on oxygen or maybe a vent. I don't exactly know, but we tried to get her covered again, and I was relentless texting her daughter about it. And I didn't give up. I said, she kept saying, I don't want a 2-year plan. I don't want a 2-year plan. We tried to get her into 2 other plans that declined her. And I said, we can't do her anything else but a 2-year plan. She must have been on oxygen or a ventilator while she was in the hospital. And so some coverage is better than nothing. And we need to start it now. And she finally said yes. And we got her covered with Great Western. And we'll look at her in a year or, again to try to get her upgraded. But we got to give people hope. We give people hope. She was so sad that she didn't pay for this policy that was day one coverage. But we don't give up on those people that decline. We don't give up. And that's something that I've gotten better at over the years. But I want to put that into you. Like, get better. You can get better. You don't have to wait like I did. You can get better now because you know my story.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think a lot of people think about, what happens if the client doesn't pay? What do I do? Well, take a breather, call them, and figure out how we fix it. Sometimes that means just getting the carrier on the line and having them rerun their payment. Sometimes that means the policy is lapsed and you need to rewrite it. There's all sorts of scenarios, but
sometimes I had 2 of these this week. Sometimes they just changed their bank and they forgot.
Yeah.
And so we got to help them with that.
That's
and
true.
They really appreciate that. I had one customer I was talking to in the hospital on Saturday, and she had declined 3 years ago. And I had texted her, we need to talk about this. And she was one of those that wanted to get her license at that way back when. Well, she still wants to get her license now. She really wants to get it now for real. But she has all kind of health issues, but she had gotten something else. No big deal. We're getting her husband covered now with a policy.
What I've noticed about you've always treated that type of stuff as just a lead, like a reason, and you don't overthink it either. You typically just call the client and try to figure out what happened from their perspective, and then do what you need to do from your perspective as their agent and making sure we get it fixed, whether it is new banking info or whether it's a new app that needs to be written. But you've always been really good about just treating those emails or letters that come in, because once you start writing a lot of business, and some of you have, and have experienced this already, but if you haven't, you will be writing a lot of business, and eventually somebody's going to miss a payment. Tell yourself how you're going to react to it now. Treat it as a lead. Don't treat it as, oh my gosh, this person's trying to cancel their policy, or this person, most of the time, it's not that. It's just somebody forgot. They just needed it to draft on a different day, and we need to maybe help them change that draft date. So just go ahead and decide now that that's how we're going to treat it, rather than as a negative thing, because it's not negative. They already knew they need the coverage. They bought it in the first place. We just got to help them put it back on the books.
I had 2 customers that were orphan clients, and that's the client that maybe an agent's not with us anymore. And I got a letter, and these people didn't know me at all. They were in Alabama, and I just let them know I'm the customer service agent for this policy. And one of them had, I guess both of them lapsed, and one of them, her husband had enough coverage already. He didn't need it, but she needed one. So I wrote her one right then and there. I got it approved right then and there on the phone. She didn't even know me. But it's all about how you make people feel and the quality of the service that you're providing. So.
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to say something real quick. I didn't know if Michelle was on here or not, and I went and stepped out of my other meeting that I was in, because I'm listening to you guys while I'm in that meeting. But I didn't know if Michelle was on here. It didn't look like she was. But I wanted to just say also, and it hasn't anything to do with Michelle, what Michelle's saying right now, Michelle Alleman. But Michelle Slice last week had gotten a referral from someone on not our team, but one of the other teams within the Fitz group through Slack. So it is very important to pay attention to Slack. And that lead turned into her getting mentored by Megan, which was very much needed. I feel, and I'm jealous that it wasn't me, actually. But I mean, I'll just put that out there, and I'm happy for Michelle. And then I was trying to help Michelle on the back end, but she ended up writing 2 policies for someone in the state of Illinois and helping this guy out. And I just wanted to put kudos out there to Megan, who stayed up until like 11 o'clock at night helping her, and then also just letting everybody know that this is a true team. So yeah, do your calling, and what you don't know, you just call out and you have somebody help you with it. Yeah, definitely. And that was definitely truth going on last, I think it was Thursday.
And she certainly did that. I think, Sherry, I think she did that without knowing exactly what she was going to be getting into. But that's the point we've been saying, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just be available, and then just know that the team's going to support you through the rest of it, And she probably learned more in that day or a couple of days than any trainings or anything else she could have watched. I think that was really good.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I can understand why you're a little bit
100%.
jealous, but it's okay.
Well, that's the thing. Like there is definitely something to being trained, right? Before you walk into a situation, like you always want to feel like you know what you're doing. The problem is that we can never predict what the situation is going to be. Everybody's family, everybody's health, everybody's age, everybody's needs are totally different. So, you just have to, again, like go in and find the client, be the finder, find the person who needs the coverage or the annuity or whatever it is, and then ask for help when it's needed. Yeah. And I mean, with that situation, and I told Michelle this too, I mean, sometimes you just have to do whatever it takes, like whatever it takes kind of mentality. We're in the service industry. That means I don't necessarily I don't have a clock out, right? Like I'm pretty available like most of the time, unless I'm asleep or on a date with my husband or, and I think that the people who have reached out to me know this. I'm trying to be pretty available so that when things come up, I can truly help you through it. But again, I run business at a high level myself. Like I have to stay to my schedule too and respect my schedule. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to have that whatever it takes mentality. We're staying up till 11 o'clock doing a phone or phone application. No worries. Like we're getting an app in. Like I'll stay up as late as we need to.
And she ended up doing 2 of them. And,
right.
and then I mean, I just want to say that, life is about serving, and that's why we're here. And yeah, Michelle served another person that couldn't do it in Illinois. Megan served Michelle, and they both served the client. And in the end, that's who's the most important.
Right. It was a win-win-win.
That's a win. And can I share, I know we're at the end of the hour, in the end of the 30 minutes. Can I share one more concept with you? Because I think this might help people. I had an annual review on the phone. It was another orphan client that Maddie had set up for me. And she was again in Alabama, and her policy was active. She had Mutual of Omaha, but she had $40,000 policy with a $5,500 loan against it. And her daughter takes care of her stuff. And her daughter thought it was like a $2,900 loan. But I got up on the website and looked it up and saw what it was. And she talked to me about, well, how about if I pay like $200 a month back to this? I said, you could do that, or you could leverage the insurance that you have. I had already found out that her mother was super healthy in her late 70s, no medication, only vitamins. So I knew by that for $200, she could probably get $20,000. For $250, anyway, I quoted her for $20,000. You could leverage and get $20,000 of insurance instead of paying $200 back on a loan. You got $20,000 instead of you're losing $5,000. which is better deal? The 20,000 is a better deal. Well, she said, can I get 30? I said, no. I said, this company will only do 25. It's 250,000. She said, I want that one. And I said, and so we did the application. She got approved. And at the very end, I said, oh, by the way, if you still want another 5 on your mom, we could do it. I just need to do it with a different company.
That's just, yeah, this is a high level strategy on how you can approach getting business from a whole life policy that's been enforced for a while. How you can leverage what they already have to get them more coverage from what they're already paying. That's just a high level strategy. That works if you find somebody who's had a policy in place for a long time, or if they have taken a loan from their policy that they don't necessarily want to pay back. Just disclaimer, high level strategy.
High level strategy. But at the end, she said, but I want you to call my uncle tomorrow. I want him to get some insurance. You've helped me so much. So that's all about that. That's all I'll say about that.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Point is there's always opportunity, but you have to start with finding the client.
She never said to me, I want more insurance for my mother, by the way. I said, here's an idea for you that might make sense. Here's how the policy works now. If she died tomorrow, yes, that $5,900 would come off the $40,000 and she would get paid $34,000. You could pay $200 a month on this and pay it off, or here's an idea. And I just presented it as an idea. That's all I did.
There you go. All righty. We are 4 minutes over. Good morning, Sonia. I saw you jumped on here. Great to see you and meet you. We have this call from 7:30 to 8. But tomorrow
Except
morning.
for next week.
Yes, except for next week. We are canceling next Mondays. We will be on a family vacation out in California, taking a little bit of a break. But tomorrow morning, we do have the sales meeting with the FITS group. So make sure, like Sherry said, be on Slack, check your Slack. The sales meeting link gets posted onto the 411 channel around 9:30 a.m. Central. If you are on the Yankee team, I will send you an email today with the instructions on how to send the transmittal in from your business that you submitted last week and the activity that you did last week. Not only the business submitted, but I want to see the activity as well. And then Alleman team, you know who's in that too as well. But yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning on Tuesday sales call. Hey, and today's still Monday. You still got a couple hours to finish up some more applications to get them in before tomorrow's sales meeting. So what can you do today? We'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Have a good weekend, or have a good week. A weekend.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye,
week.
everybody.
Happy
Bye-bye.
birthday, Mike.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.